Here where we live, snow is not the most common thing. We can bank on at least one good snow a year, and if it's a snowier year, we get about 3 to 4, but it's still really exciting. We run to the grocery store, we get hot chocolate, we stock up on supplies. Snow is not something that we are necessarily super used to around here. So when it comes, it's exciting and we like to cozy up. So this particular week, we knew that we were going to have a really big snow for where we live. That's about 9 to 12 inches of snow is considered really, really big. And we knew that was coming. So we settled into some projects and we had fun outside in the winter weather. I decided to tackle quite the large project this week by making me and my daughter's matching outfits. So the very first thing I needed to do, of course, was get the patterns assembled and printed and then cut out so that I could then actually cut out the fabric. Before I actually dove into cutting my fabric out, I thought it would be wise of me to not neglect my homemaking duties and get started on dinner. I have been really trying to start dinner earlier in the day so that our evenings are not stressful and we can be relaxed and spend a lot of quality time with our daughters. I am making a pizza soup. This is one of our favorites, and I especially love it in the winter because it is really full of good nutrients that I feel our body needs in the winter. I am technically following a recipe from the blog called Paleo Running Mama, but if I'm being honest, this is one that I don't have to pull up anymore because we make it so much that I pretty much have it down, and I'm sure if you guys went and looked at the recipe, I'd be doing some stuff out of order. I've kind of adapted it to make it a little bit easier and better for my family, but if you want to make this too, that would be a really good one to go look up and follow because I am loosely basing it off of that. I care a lot about my family eating healthy foods, but sometimes the grocery shopping and meal planning can get overwhelming. And that is why I absolutely love using Hungry Root, who happens to be the sponsor of today's video. I love that Hungry Root makes it simple to eat healthier without having to overthink it. The thought of food is the hardest part to me, and so I love that I can just basically tell Hungry Root what my preferences are, what ingredients we need to avoid, and it'll just build out a grocery box with meals and snacks specifically for my family. It takes all the thought out of it, but I'm still getting all the benefit of having healthy foods delivered directly to my doorstep. I love that Hungry Root fills my cart with personalized recommendations. With each order, it learns your preferences, and so your grocery boxes just keep getting better and better. The thing that I absolutely love the most about Hungry Root is its large selection. They have things like quick lunches, smoothies, they have a lot of snacks, they have kid snacks, they can even do supplements. So your grocery box is really a complete box for how you and your family eat, which is really, really important. Hungry Root makes grocery shopping and meal planning incredibly easy, so I know that you guys will love it just as much as our family has. For a limited time, you can get 40% off your first box plus a free item in every box for life. Make sure to head to the link in my description or go to hungryroot.com and use my code SUNNY for 40% off of your first box plus a free item in every box for life. Make sure to check it out to make healthy eating and grocery shopping so straightforward and easy for your family. Thanks so much to Hungry Root for sponsoring today's video. I got the pizza soup entirely done and just sitting on the stove so that we could warm it up for dinner later. And then I went back into my makeshift sewing space in our dining room and started working on my project. I have always been someone who really enjoys Valentine's Day. I find it to be a wonderful excuse for a date night, an excuse to have fun, an excuse to wear pink and red. My husband is so sweet, and usually I have some flowers on my counter when Valentine's Day comes around, which is a rare, rare treat in winter. So I am all about this big of a reason to celebrate in winter, even though some people say it's pointless. I love it. So something that I did last year was made my daughter a pair of Valentine's Day overalls, and I thought it could be really fun to start a tradition of me matching my two daughters in handmade outfits for Valentine's Day, because why not add a winter sewing project? So I got this really darling fabric from Hobby Lobby, and I knew it would be perfect for my new Valentine's Day tradition. On weeks whenever I am doing a sewing project, I usually like to set little goals for myself throughout the week so that I stay on track, basically. Not that they even have a deadline, although of course this one did, which was Valentine's Day. But I like to set little goals for myself, and almost always the goal for the first day is to get my pattern assembled, cut out, and all the fabric cut out. So now you are seeing the beginning of the next day, which I started with dinner. I wanted to really get into this sewing project, so I wanted to get dinner done right away, and I am doing a pork loin roast in the crock pot. If I'm being 100% honest, this was not my finest meal. Of course, it fed us. It was good. We learned stuff. And it was really good to have dinner already handled because we ended up with some unexpected plans this day, which I will tell you about here in a minute. But I just got the pork loin roast browned on all sides with seasoning, and then I put it in the crock pot with this honey sauce. I think it would have been really, really good, but I think I let it overcook. So I am gonna try this again, and I think I will be able to make it much better next time. Because of my new goal of getting dinner done earlier in the day, I am on the hunt for slow cooker recipes, soup recipes, basically anything that can be easily prepped in the morning time and then ate later in the day. So if you have some of those, I would gladly take your suggestions in the comments. While I was getting my roast ready to go in the crock pot, we were hatching plans in the family group message. It's always nice to hang out after nap on a weekday, and it just so happens that this snowstorm brought in enough cold to freeze the ponds at my parents' house. So all the big kids wanted to go ice skating, and I just knew that would be so fun and we couldn't miss it. So I got started on my project because, like I said, I set little goals and I needed to stay on track in order to have this done by Valentine's Day. So I needed to quilt these pieces. Now, if you are a quilter, you would know that I am doing this all wrong, and it definitely did make it harder. So I am making the matchy quilted wavy vest, and they outlined all of this in the pattern, but I was silly and cut everything out before I read the pattern. And what I should have done is quilted this and then cut out the actual pattern piece. So that did add some complexity, but spoiler alert, it did turn out okay, but maybe not as good as it could have. I sewed rows and rows and rows of quilting stitches. Quilting is not my most favorite thing in the world, but I am so glad that I tackled this project, and I do feel like if I were to make it again, I could make a lot of improvements. Whenever I got the quilting all done on all of my pieces, it was time to pack up all of our cold weather gear and wake up my daughter from her nap so that we could head to the ice skating ponds. Hey, honey. You want to go ice skating with your cousins? Yeah? I know that it is a huge blessing how many cousins that my daughters have, and they live close enough to see pretty regularly. This is something that I really try to not let my daughters miss out on. So I love whenever plans like that can happen. The next day, I got a really good chunk of sewing time in to work on my projects. It became pretty clear to me that the vest I was going to wear was easily the most complicated piece that I was making. I had already finished my toddler's overalls at this point, and I needed to really make some progress on my vest. So this particular day, I was working on getting the pockets bias bound. This is something that I am not very good at. I do not consider it easy, and oh man, it's just so hard to me. But I did do it. I can't honestly say that it's my finest work, but it is done. When I reflect on this week of sewing, I definitely learned some things about what I like. First of all, I don't like being in a hurry. I think that tackling all three of these in the same week was biting off more than I can chew, especially with the complexity of the vest being also a quilting project, which I am just not very good at. And I am really craving doing a project that will be slow, that I can really be proud of. That's the second thing that I learned throughout this week, is that when I sew, I want to be really, really proud of it. I don't like whenever I make something and when people ask me about it, I say, oh no, don't look too close. I want to say, look at every single seam. I'm really proud of this. I took my time on this, and that is not what I can say about this vest. Yes, it's cute. It is serviceable, as my nieces say, but I don't think I would tell you to look at every single seam. So I am definitely planning now a project that I can tackle where I would be really proud of it. I'm going through patterns. I'm trying to find stuff that I could wear all the time. I am craving going slow and really taking my time on a project after maybe missing that throughout this week of sewing. I forced myself to take a break from the binding of the vest and worked on my newborn's outfit. Thankfully, we got to wear these outfits to 2 different parties, which is so fun. The first of which actually is here on YouTube. I am putting some clips in of my friend's video right here. These are the final shots of the party, but her video goes into all of the prep that she did to have such an exciting and fun Valentine's Day party to go to. So it was so much fun, and she put a lot of prep work into it. So make sure to head over to her channel and watch that video all about her party. I will link the Valentine's Day video and just her channel for you guys, because I really think that you would love following along with her. So make sure to head over there and check it out. I found a pattern for my newborn that had long sleeves and long pants and was an all one piece. So that was a winner in my opinion. Though I did struggle with the bias bound neckline, it ended up being really, really cute.
Didn't know. This was not my finest work.
No.
You agree?
That's my work.
It's your finest work?
Yeah.
Find it. We gotta try again.
I struggled so much with the bias bound neckline that I actually had to re-cut out that piece and reattach it. It is never fun when a seam ripper is involved in a sewing project, but it ended up turning out okay. So that did redeem the fact that this was harder than I wanted it to be, which I was kind of shocked by because I've done bias bound necklines before and I don't find them particularly easy, but I don't find them impossible by any means. So anyways, I was happy to have that portion of her outfit done and move on to something that's a lot easier for me, which is attaching sleeves and sewing up side seams and hemming and doing her little pearl snaps. If you know me or you have been around this channel during the winter months at all, you know that I am typically not someone who is good at romanticizing winter. It's actually really hard for me. I just don't love winter and I strongly prefer summer. So this video where I am happily talking about snow and ice skating and cozying up might come as a shock. I can definitely appreciate the beauty of snow, even though I don't love winter. It's actually the grayness of winter and the shorter days that I don't love. When it snows and when we get to be outside with our cousins and cozy up and tackle projects and all that kind of stuff, that's fun to me. It's just still not as fun as summer. So I am, of course, trying to romanticize winter because that does make it easier for me. But overall, I am still really excited for summer. In my effort to make sure that dinner is ready before dinner time, I wrapped up my newborn's outfit and then went into the kitchen to start on a short rib noodle soup that I would make in the Instant Pot. This recipe is one that can be found on Pinch of Yum's blog. It is one of my favorite recipe blogs, and this is one of my favorite recipes. I just think it's a really unique way to make short ribs. You put them in the Instant Pot with some gochujang sauce, tomato paste, ginger, garlic, an onion, some broth, and then you let it cook for 30 minutes at pressure. This particular day, I actually wasn't able to finish this recipe, but it was still really handy because I started it at a time where my husband could finish it really easily whenever he got home from work. He was able to just open the Instant Pot, toss in the ramen noodles, and that is all he had to do, and then dinner was completely ready. I had a cozy sewing night that I didn't record because I was in my PJs and at my sewing machine, where I finished binding my vest, and this is the end result. I hope that you have a wonderful winter week and that you feel inspired in your homemaking. I'll see you guys here next week on Our Sweet Sunny Days.